there is a weight you have been carrying. A weight so familiar, you have almost stopped noticing it is there. It sits on your shoulders when you wake up. It follows you into your work. It climbs into bed beside you at night. And somewhere along the way, you convinced yourself that this weight was yours to hold, yours alone, yours to manage, yours to fix. But tonight, I want to say something to you gently, something you may have forgotten. If anyone can handle it, God can handle it. Not you, not your willpower, not your 5-year plan, not your ability to grit your teeth and push through. God, say that to yourself now, slowly. Let it settle into the tired places. If anyone can handle it, God can handle it. You have spent so long believing that strength means carrying everything alone, that faith means gritting through the pain without ever putting it down. But that is not faith. That is exhaustion wearing faith's clothes. Real faith, the kind that actually holds you up, is the faith that finally says, I cannot do this, and you can. Tonight is an invitation to lay something down, not to abandon it, not to pretend it doesn't matter, but to hand it to hands that were always bigger than yours. Think for a moment about everything you are holding right now. The situation that keeps you awake, replaying the same 5 minutes of conversation, wondering what you should have said differently, the diagnosis or the waiting for one, the appointment that looms on the calendar like a shadow you cannot outrun, the relationship that feels like it is fraying at the edges, the silence that has grown where conversation used to live, the bills, the numbers that don't add up no matter how many times you run them, the child who won't return your calls, the parent who is aging faster than you are ready for, the job that drains you, or the job you don't have, the purpose you can't quite locate. Each of these, you have picked up, one by one, and carried, and somewhere in the carrying, you started to believe this is simply what your life is now, a collection of weights, a permanent posture of strain. But listen closely, you were never meant to carry all of this. You were never built for this kind of weight. None of us were. We were built to walk upright, to breathe deeply, to rest at the end of a long day, not to be bent permanently under a stack of burdens that keep multiplying. So if you are bent low tonight, if your shoulders ache from carrying what was never yours to carry alone, this is for you. If anyone can handle it, God can handle it. There is a strange comfort in remembering how small you actually are. Not small in worth, never that. You are worth more than you know. But small in scale, small in the way a single wave is small against an entire ocean. You were never meant to hold the ocean. You were only ever meant to be held by it. And yet how often do we try to be the ocean, trying to contain every current, every tide, every storm, within our own 2 hands? No wonder we are tired. No wonder we lie awake at 3 in the morning trying to solve what cannot be solved by human effort alone. There is a kind of humility in finally admitting, I am not big enough for this. And there is a kind of relief that follows right behind it. Because the moment you stop pretending to be big enough is the moment you make room for something that actually is. God is not asking you to be stronger. God is asking you to be honest. Honest about your limits. Honest about your fear. Honest about the fact that you have been pretending to be fine when you are not fine at all. Let your mind travel back to a time when you were young, before the weight had settled so deeply into your bones. Do you remember what it felt like to trust without needing proof first? To believe that someone bigger than you was watching over the details, someone who would catch you if you fell. Somewhere between then and now, life taught you to be suspicious of that kind of trust. Disappointment taught you to hold your breath, to expect the worst, to keep one hand on the wheel at all times just in case. But hear this tonight. The God who held you then is the same God who holds you now. He has not changed. He has not grown tired of you. He has not walked away because you have struggled to keep your faith steady. He is still here, patient, constant, unmoved by the chaos that moves you. If anyone can handle it, God can handle it. Even the chaos in your mind right now. Even the fear you haven't said out loud to anyone. Even the version of the future you are most afraid of. He can handle it. Maybe you are afraid that if you let go, everything will fall apart. That the only reason anything is holding together right now is because you are gripping it so tightly. I want to gently challenge that thought. What if the gripping is actually what's making it harder to breathe? What if your hands, clenched so tightly around control, are the very thing keeping you from receiving the help that has been waiting for you all along. You cannot receive with a closed fist. Open hands are how we receive. Open hands are how we are held. So tonight, try this. Not with your physical hands necessarily, but with the posture of your heart. Unclench. Let your grip loosen. Just slightly. Just enough to imagine what it might feel like to not be the one holding everything together. You do not have to solve tonight what has taken years to become tangled. You do not have to fix in one evening what has been broken for a long season. You only have to open your hands and let something greater step in. There is an old kind of wisdom in simply saying, I don't know how this is going to work out, but I trust the one who does. That sentence, spoken honestly, is one of the most powerful things a tired person can say, not because it solves the problem, but because it repositions you. It moves you from the driver's seat, where you have been white-knuckling the wheel through fog you cannot see through, into the passenger seat, where you can finally look out the window and notice that you are not alone on this road. If anyone can handle the fog, God can handle the fog. If anyone can handle the uncertain diagnosis, the uncertain outcome, the uncertain future, it is Him. He is not confused by what confuses you. He is not overwhelmed by what overwhelms you. He does not need more information before He can act. He already knows the whole story, beginning to end, and He is not afraid of any part of it. Consider the people in your life who carry real burdens with real grace. Maybe you know someone who has walked through loss and somehow still smiles with a kind of peace that seems impossible given what they've been through. Maybe you've wondered how they do it. The truth is, they probably didn't do it by gripping tighter. They did it by learning, often through painful practice, to release what they could not control into hands that could hold it better than they ever could. That kind of peace is not the absence of hardship. It is the presence of trust in the middle of hardship. It is possible for you too, not because you are stronger than you think, but because you are not meant to do this in your own strength at all. If anyone can handle it, God can handle it. Let that phrase become a kind of anchor tonight, something you return to whenever the waves start rising again. Maybe part of what makes this so hard is that you feel like you have to earn the help, that you have to prove you've tried hard enough, suffered enough, deserve enough, before it is acceptable to ask for support. That is exhausting theology, and it isn't true. You do not have to earn rest. You do not have to perform your way into being worthy of being carried. The invitation to lay your burden down was never conditional on how well you've been holding up until now. It is simply open, waiting, available the moment you are ready to walk through it. You could have been carrying this for one day or for 20 years. It does not matter. The door is open right now. Tonight, you do not need a perfect prayer. You do not need the right words. You simply need honesty. Say what is true. Say it plainly. I am tired. I don't know how to fix this. I have been trying to hold it together and I don't think I can anymore. That is enough. That is more than enough. There is something important to understand about the nature of the one who is holding you. He is not a distant force, uninterested in the details of your particular struggle. He is not so occupied with the scale of the universe that your small, aching heart goes unnoticed. Somehow, in a way that is hard for the human mind to fully grasp, He is big enough to hold galaxies and attentive enough to hold the tremble in your hands right now. Both things are true at once. He is not too big to care about your specific situation, and your specific situation is not too small to matter to Him. If anyone can handle the enormous and the intimate at the same time, it is Him. The mountain in front of you and the quiet fear underneath it, He can hold both. Let's slow down here. Breathe with me for a moment. In and out. Notice the places in your body where tension has been living. Your jaw, your shoulders, your chest. With each breath, imagine setting one small piece of the weight down. You don't have to figure out the whole burden tonight. Just one piece. Breathe in and set down the fear about tomorrow. Breathe out and let it go. Breathe in and set down the anger you've been carrying towards someone who hurt you. Breathe out and release your grip on it, even just a little. Breathe in and set down the shame about the mistakes you've made. Breathe out and remember that shame was never yours to carry either. You are not your worst moment. You are not the sum of your failures. You are someone who is loved, fully, even in the middle of the mess. Maybe tonight you're carrying something you haven't told anyone about. A secret struggle, a private ache, a fear that feels too shameful to say out loud. I want you to know there is nothing you are hiding that is a surprise to the one who already sees the whole of you. You do not need to clean yourself up before you come to him. You do not need to have your life in order, your emotions steady, your faith unwavering. Come as you are, tired, doubting, afraid, angry, confused. He is not frightened by any of it. If anyone can handle the parts of you that you're afraid to show anyone else, God can handle it. There is nowhere you can go, nothing you can carry, nothing you can confess, that puts you outside the reach of his care. Sometimes the hardest thing to release is not the crisis itself, but the need to know how it will end. We want the outline before we're willing to let go. The guarantee, the proof that everything will work out the way we hope. But faith rarely works that way. Faith is being willing to release your grip before you see the resolution. Trusting the character of the one holding you, even when the outcome is still unclear. This does not mean everything will look the way you imagined. It means you are not walking through this uncertainty alone. It means the one who holds the outcome also holds you. And that is enough to keep walking. Think about the many small ways you have already been carried, even without realizing it. The unexpected help that arrived exactly when you needed it. The stranger's kindness on a hard day. The way you made it through a season you thought would break you. Those were not accidents. Those were evidence. Quiet, easy to miss evidence that you have never actually been carrying this alone. Even in your most isolated moments, there has been a presence with you. Steady, patient, unseen, but not absent. If he has carried you this far, he's not going to set you down now. Let this be a night of release. Not because everything is suddenly resolved, but because you are finally willing to stop pretending you can resolve it by yourself. Say it with me, quietly, in your own heart. I release the fear I've been carrying. I release the need to control every outcome. I release the shame that has followed me for so long. I release the anger that has been eating away at my peace. I release the exhaustion of trying to hold everything together. And I place all of it, every piece, into hands that are steadier than mine. If anyone can handle it, God can handle it. You may find that this release doesn't happen all at once. And that's all right. Peace is often not a single moment but a practice, something you return to again and again. Each time you notice you've picked the burden back up without realizing it. That's all right too. Grace exists for the moments you forget, just as much as for the moments you remember. When you catch yourself gripping tightly again tomorrow, you can simply pause and say the words again. If anyone can handle it, God can handle it. It will not sound like a magic phrase that instantly fixes everything. It will sound like truth, slowly reshaping the way you carry your life. Consider what it might feel like to actually walk through your days lighter, not because your circumstances have changed overnight, but because you are no longer trying to be the one holding the whole world together. Imagine waking up and not immediately feeling the crushing weight of everything unresolved. Imagine sitting with uncertainty and feeling underneath it something steadier than panic. That is available to you, not because you have become someone different, but because you are finally letting someone bigger than you take the parts that were never yours to hold. There will be moments ahead when the old fear creeps back in, when you find yourself once again trying to grip the wheel too tightly. When that happens, do not be hard on yourself. Simply notice it and gently loosen your hold again. This is not a test you either pass or fail once and for all. It is a relationship, a practice, a returning over and over to the same quiet truth. If anyone can handle it, God can handle it. Let it become as familiar to you as your own name. Let it be the first thought that rises when the anxiety starts to climb. Let it be the phrase you whisper in waiting rooms, in difficult phone calls, in the middle of sleepless nights. You were never meant to walk through this life bracing for impact at every turn. You were meant to walk through it held, supported, carried, accompanied. Not because life will stop being hard. It won't. But because you are not facing any of it without help, whatever tomorrow holds, whatever conversation you're dreading, whatever result you're waiting for, whatever silence in your home feels unbearable right now. It is not too much for him. If anyone can handle it, God can handle it. Let that truth be the last thing on your mind as you drift towards sleep tonight. Not the weight, not the worry, not the endless replaying of everything that hasn't been resolved. Just this: you are held, You are not alone. And whatever you cannot carry, he already has. Rest now. Let your body sink into stillness. Let your mind quiet its endless calculating. There is nothing left to figure out tonight. Only this simple, steady truth to hold on to as you fall asleep. If anyone can handle it, God can handle it. Let it be the last words in your mind. Let it be the first words when you wake. You are carried. You are held. You are loved. Rest. But before you drift fully into sleep, let's sit with this a little longer, because there is more to say. And you have time tonight. Time to let this truth work its way all the way down. Think about the times you have tried to manage an outcome that was never within your control to begin with. The health of someone you love. You cannot control that, no matter how many nights you've stayed awake worrying. The choices of another adult, a grown child, a spouse, a friend. You cannot make their decisions for them, no matter how much you wish you could. The timeline of your own healing. You cannot force a wound to close faster simply by willing it to. And yet, how much energy have you spent trying to control exactly these things? How many hours lost to imagining scenarios you cannot prevent? Rehearsing conversations that may never happen? Bracing for outcomes that are not yours to determine? This is not a failure of discipline. This is simply what happens when a finite person tries to carry an infinite kind of weight. You were not built with the capacity to control outcomes. You were built with the capacity to trust the one who does. There is a particular kind of tiredness that comes from trying to be in control of things you were never meant to control. It is different from the tiredness of a long day's work. It doesn't go away with sleep. It lingers in the background of everything, a low hum of vigilance that never quite shuts off. Maybe that hum has been your constant companion for so long, you've forgotten what quiet feels like. Maybe you check your phone one more time, replay one more scenario, run one more calculation, because some part of you believes that if you just think about it hard enough, you can prevent the worst from happening. But control was never the thing keeping you safe. It only felt that way. What has actually been holding you, underneath all your effort, underneath all your vigilance, is a steadier hand than your own. If anyone can handle the outcomes you cannot control, God can handle them. Let's talk about fear for a moment. Honestly, fear is not something to be ashamed of. Fear is often just love with nowhere to put its energy. You are afraid because you care, because the people and things you are worried about matter to you deeply. That is not weakness. That is evidence of a tender heart. But fear was never meant to be the place where that love lives permanently. Fear was meant to be a signal, a brief alarm, not a residence. When fear becomes the house you live in, when it furnishes every room of your mind, it stops protecting you and starts consuming you. Tonight, you are invited to move your love out of the house of fear and into the house of trust. The love stays. It doesn't have to disappear, but it finds a new place to live, a steadier place. If anyone can handle what you are afraid of, God can handle it. Let your love rest there instead. Think of your life as a long road, one you have been walking for years now. Some stretches have been smooth, open sky, easy walking, moments where everything made sense. Other stretches have been steep, rocky, shrouded in fog so thick you couldn't see 3 feet ahead. On those foggy stretches, you kept walking anyway, somehow, even when you couldn't see the path. Have you ever wondered how you did that? It wasn't only your own strength, though you have more strength than you often give yourself credit for. It was also because you were not walking that road entirely alone, even when it felt that way. Someone was walking beside you in the fog, even when you couldn't make out the shape of them. That same presence is walking beside you tonight. Whatever foggy stretch you're in right now, whatever you can't see clearly, whatever outcome remains hidden from you, you do not have to see the whole path to keep walking it. You only have to trust the one walking it with you. There is a difference between pretending nothing is wrong and choosing peace in the middle of what is wrong. Tonight is not about pretending your circumstances are fine when they aren't. It is not about painting on a smile and denying the real weight of what you're facing. It is about acknowledging the weight fully, honestly, without flinching away from it, and then choosing, in the same breath, to hand that weight to someone whose shoulders are wide enough to bear it. You can hold both at once. This is hard, and I am not carrying it alone. This hurts, and I am still held. I don't understand why this is happening, and I still trust the character of the one who does understand. Faith was never the absence of pain. It is trust that persists in the middle of pain. Maybe you've prayed about the same burden more times than you can count, and it hasn't resolved the way you hoped. Maybe you're wondering, quietly, if it's even worth bringing it up again. I want to gently remind you, persistence in prayer is not weakness. It is not a sign that your faith isn't working. It is simply part of what it means to keep returning to someone you trust, even when the answer hasn't arrived yet. A child doesn't stop asking a loving parent for comfort just because the comfort took longer than expected to feel. They keep coming back because the relationship itself is what steadies them, not only the resolution. You can keep bringing this back to God, tonight, tomorrow, and the night after that, as many times as you need to. He does not grow tired of hearing from you. He does not consider your return a failure of your faith. If anyone can handle you coming back to the same ache again and again, God can handle it. Consider, too, the people around you who may be carrying weights of their own, quietly, the way you have been. Someone in your life right now is holding something heavy and has not said a word about it. You do not need to fix them. You do not need to have the answers for their situation, but you can be a steady presence for someone else, the way you long for someone to be steady for you. Sometimes the most healing thing we can offer another tired person is simply, I see that you're carrying something. I'm not going anywhere. And sometimes, in offering that presence to someone else, you find your own burden feels lighter too, not because it disappeared, but because you remembered in loving someone else that you are not the only one who understands what it is to be tired. As we come toward the close of this time together, let's return once more to the center of everything we've said tonight. You are not meant to carry this alone. You were never meant to carry it alone. Every burden you've been gripping so tightly, every fear that has kept you awake, every uncertainty about tomorrow, every quiet ache you haven't told anyone about, none of it is too much for the one who is holding you. Say it one more time, slowly. Let it be the truth your whole body settles into. If anyone can handle it, God can handle it. Not because you have failed by needing help, not because you are weak for feeling tired, but because you were built to be held, not to hold everything by yourself. Let your breathing slow now. Let your thoughts quiet, one by one, like lights being turned off in a house at the end of a long day. There is nothing left to solve tonight. There is nothing left to carry alone. Whatever tomorrow brings, it is already known, already held, already within reach of hands far steadier than yours. Rest in that tonight. Let the weight settle down. Let it go, piece by piece, breath by breath. If anyone can handle it, God can handle it. You are safe. You are held. You are loved. Sleep now and rest.